Now, pretty much every time we've talked about Disney lately, it's been hard not to wonder whether they're intentionally sabotaging their own brand for some unknown reason. And that might sound like a crazy conspiracy theory, but ask yourself this. When was the last time that the spokeswoman for a major company told half of the company's customers that they should suffer in pain for the rest of their lives and never know peace? And then after the spokeswoman delivers that message as explicitly as she possibly can, the company doesn't fire that spokeswoman for or publicly repudiate her in any way. In fact, they keep paying her. That's basically how bad things have gotten at Disney. The actress Rachel Zegler wrote a whole post about how Trump supporters should basically burn in hell. And on top of that, for good measure, she declared that Snow White, the movie she's doing a remake of, is a terrible and misogynistic story. So to fix that, they need to have a new girl boss, main character who treats the dwarves like they're her slaves. And at no point in this process is she fired. And you have to wonder, what kind of company would operate like this? I mean, if it didn't deliberately want to tank its own reputation. Maybe that's not Disney's ultimate goal. I've seen some people suggest that maybe Disney only intends to tank specific projects, the ones that it knows in advance are going to do poorly. So, for example, they know that Snow White is going to bomb, so they encourage Zegler to torpedo the whole thing with politics. And that way, when everything collapses, they can blame Trump supporters instead of their own incompetence. Think of it like a face-saving public relations strategy. And that's an alternative theory. Does it make a lot of sense? No, it doesn't. But this is the kind of theorizing people do in the face of this level of incompetence. This particular conspiracy theory actually has another benefit, which is that it helps explain the otherwise inexplicable statements that were made by the actor Anthony Mackie, the star of Disney's upcoming film, Captain America: Brave New World. What Mackie just did is so over the top and so clearly intended, you would think, to antagonize potential fans of the film that you think, like, there's got to be something else going on here, which even though there probably isn't. So perhaps they know that, I don't know, maybe they think Captain America: Brave New World is going to bomb, so they decided to completely destroy it preemptively. And then they had Anthony Mackie go out and say this. The viral moment is at the beginning of this clip when he explains that Captain America, what it represents in his view, which is an easy question when you're on a publicity tour for Captain America and somebody asks, what does it represent? You'd think that's a pretty easy question. That's a softball. How do you not just crush that as a home run answer? But he doesn't. And it's kind of extraordinary footage in its own right. But we'll play the whole thing because really the whole statement is something to behold. Here it is.
For me, Captain America represents a lot of different things. And I don't think the term, America should be one of those representations. Like, it's about a man who keeps his word, who has honor, dignity, and integrity. Someone who is trustworthy and dependable. It's kind of, this is kind of like an aspect of a dream coming true. When I was a kid, all of us as actors, I believe, want to get back to that day before someone told you no. When you look out your door and you see a 5-year-old kid with a stick and he's slaying dragons to save the princess in the tower, that kid really believes there are dragons out there. That stick is really a sword and he's really trying to save that princess. And then one day somebody told him, no, there are no dragons, that's not a sword, and that princess is not there. And all of his little dreams were dashed. So, as an actor, I feel like our job is to get back to the day where we see that dragon and we slay that dragon to save that princess. And that's kind of what this movie was for me.
So the money quote at the beginning, in case you missed it, was this, quote, "For me, Captain America represents a lot of different things, and I don't think the term, America should be one of those representations." Yes, Captain America is not supposed to represent America. That's according to the star of the upcoming Captain America film just a couple of weeks before his film comes out. Now, it's such an incredible moment that it's hard to think of anything to compare it to or how it could even possibly happen. But you put yourself in this actor's shoes for a moment. You've just emerged from an extended bender, which has temporarily destroyed your memory and your capacity for high-order thinking. Even in that scenario, this is still an interview that you should be able to pull off. Now, even if you don't know anything about Captain America, you still know that he's called Captain America. So that should be a pretty big clue all by itself. And again, a really easy thing to talk about. Saying that Captain America doesn't represent America is like saying Spider-Man has nothing to do with spiders. I mean, it's like right there in the name. Being a husband, father, and host of my own show means life never slows down. Imagine trying to eat 31 fruits and vegetables every day That sounds pretty time-consuming, but with Balance of Nature fruits and veggies, there's never been a more convenient dietary supplement to ensure that you get a wide variety of fruits and vegetables every day with 31 different whole fruits and vegetable ingredients. Balance of Nature takes fruits and vegetables, they freeze-dry them, turn them into powder, and then put them into a capsule. You take your fruit and veggie capsules every day, and then your body knows what to do with them. Go to balanceofnature.com, use promo code Walsh for 35% off your first order as a preferred customer, plus get a free bottle of fiber and spice. That's balanceofnature.com, promo code Walsh. And of course, it gets even worse when you consider the fact that Captain America's costume is the American flag, and he was created specifically to promote American ideals ahead of World War II. According to Wikipedia, which is the extent of my knowledge of Captain America, the very first Captain America comic has him punching Hitler in the face on the front cover, which is about as explicit a message as you can possibly get. But somehow Anthony Mackie, who's playing Captain America, missed it. In his years of preparation for this role, this managed to escape him. And then he explains what, in his view, Captain America is all about. He says, when you look out your door and you see a 5-year-old kid with a stick and he's slaying dragons to save the princess in the tower, that kid really believes there are dragons out there, that the stick is really a sword, and he's really trying to save that princess. And then one day someone told him, no, there are no dragons, that's not a sword, and that princess is not there, and all of his little dreams are dashed. So as an actor, I feel like our job is to get back to the day where we could see the dragon and slay the dragon and save the princess, and that's kind of what this movie was for me. Now, if you went back in time and showed that quote to Joe Simon and Jack Kirby, the two guys who, according to Wikipedia, created Captain America, you have to imagine they'd be a little bit confused. It's such an incoherent, rambling response that it almost defies comprehension. It's as if he's doing everything he possibly can to avoid talking about Captain America. He appears to be talking about how he wants to go back to being a child, where he apparently believed at the age of 5 years old that he was slaying actual dragons with a stick in his yard. And then he suffered a traumatizing experience when someone informed him that there were no actual dragons in his backyard. And his whole acting career has been an extended effort to undo that psychological trauma. Now, from some other reporting, it seems like he really wanted to play Spider-Man a few years ago, but he ended up with this. But it's all the same to Anthony Mackie. Whatever role he gets, he'll find a way to tie it back somehow to his childhood fantasies, and that's what this movie is all about, in his view. Now, in this case, someone at Disney apparently came to the realization that something had to be done, so they made a desperate attempt at damage control, which, as far as I know, never happened with Rachel Zegler. So maybe they haven't completely given up on this new film. This effort at damage control produced this new statement from Anthony Mackie, which reads, quote, "Let me be clear about this. I'm a proud American, and taking on the shield of a hero like Cap is the honor of a lifetime. I have the utmost respect for those who serve and have served our country. Cap has universal characteristics that people all over the world can relate to." So he still doesn't seem to understand the character, and then he makes things even worse with his follow-up, which doesn't even make sense. Quote, "I feel like it's just as important for black kids to see a black Captain America as it is for white kids to see a black Captain America. Growing up, my favorite hero was green, so it wasn't about race or anything. It was about him being a good guy trying to do the right thing." Now, of course, that's not the point. Race had nothing to do with it, and it's not why people responded so negatively to his initial statement. The point is that Anthony Mackie is embarrassed by the explicitly patriotic nature of the Captain America character. He doesn't want to ascribe any uniquely positive traits to America or Americans. Even his cleanup PR damage control statement, he still doesn't want to do that. He can't bring himself to say, hey, Captain America embodies the American ideals of courage, honesty, and fortitude. Easy thing to say. That's a crowd pleaser. But he can't say it. He can't bring himself to say it, because that would just be too complimentary towards his own country. And as a Hollywood liberal, the thought of being complimentary towards his own country sickens him. So how did Disney end up here yet again with yet another actor playing the title role for a major IP, despite hating that IP and everything it stands for? Well, either Disney exclusively hires actors who are completely incapable of behaving like high-functioning, intelligent adults when they're doing their PR tours for their films, and who are so full of bitterness and hatred for their audience that they can't even pretend to respect them, or something else is going on here, meaning there's some kind of deliberate, nefarious conspiracy in which Disney wants to sabotage its own products. And at this point, whichever theory you're partial to, it really doesn't matter. Either way, there's really no reason for anyone to go see Captain America now, as it is a film that is not in any way about America, or about captains, I guess, or anything like that. Instead, it's apparently about dragons and sticks. And that is why the new Captain America film and its openly anti-American lead actor are today canceled. Hey, YouTube, thanks for listening to the show. If you'd like access to my full show with no ads, you should go to dailywire.com and use promo code Walsh to get 2 months free on all annual plans. See you there.